Welcome back to another video about audio effect racks. We're going to be showing you the Wobble operator rack. I made this from scratch using operator and 8 macros. So we've got the wobbler here and we've got our 8 macros, which are wobble, controls the wobble rate, the wobble amount, which is how much wobble's added, alien coarse, which is like adds voicing, growl, which adds a bit of distortion, wave is like kind of chorus effect, pulse is like fine tuning the sound, layer is the volume of the other oscillators, and pitch is the semitones. So you can actually transpose the sound up and down using this macro. But yeah, no, let's just get into it. I like to show you guys by example. I find it's a good way to learn, so we're just gonna get into it now. So I'm just going to change the color of that and then soundtrack color skip. So I'm just going to press play now. So this gives you that kind of classic wobbling feel. It's definitely a sound I wanted to make when I started playing around with Ableton. So I thought I'd make it for you guys so it's kind of easy to access if you don't really know your way around operator, or you kind of just want to make a wobble sound quite easily. So we're going to experiment with it. That's basically it summed up, but let's see what we can do with this sound. I'll also include it for you guys to download. I'll give a little demonstration now in case you want to see anything like that. So I'm just slowing down decreasing the rate, which will make the wobble faster. And the wobble is synced to the filter and not the oscillators, and that's what gives it that in sync wobble sound. So if I was to play it with anything else, it would sound in sync. So you kind of get the gist of that one. And then we've got wobble amount, which is, if there's no wobble amount, there's no kind of wobble, and then you can play around with that. There's that, and you can just double click on these macros to reset them to their original position. So that's 25 for this one. Then we've got growl. Sounds like something like that. The growling alien. Wave kind of makes this scratching sound. Pulse is like a fine tune of the pitch. Then we have layer, which will affect the volume of oscillator C or oscillator 3. So yeah, there's that. And then we have pitch, which will affect the semitones or the key of the wobble. So yeah, you get the gist of that. You guys can play around with that. I'll include it for you to play around with. It's the Wobble operator racks made by me. And yeah, that's that broken down. So just to show you how I did the macros, I right clicked on the ones I wanted to change. So the LFO rate is what's actually creating the wobble. So I macroed that to number 1 and renamed the macro to wobble. And then I've got wobble amount, which is the amount next to the LFO, so you can map that, and you can see these little green buttons, little green circles pop up when it's been mapped successfully. And then we have alien course, which is the course of oscillator B, oscillator 2, and you can like unmap and then map, and then it'll map here, and it'll say macros 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can just right click, rename, and call it alien course or whatever you want to call it. You can change that. You can also change the colors by right clicking. There's also show generic 0 to 127 value, so that will change the, instead of it being 0 to 100, it'll be 0 to 127 for, I guess, more precision, or more of a consistent reading in the numbers. So course goes up to 48, so you might prefer everything to have the kind of same generic value. So for example, that would change it to 64, but that's fine. I know what I'm doing with that, so I'll just leave that. And then we've got fine tuning, which is, I should call that growl, which just gives it that sound. It's pretty cool. And then wave is so you can right click here and you can actually see what's mapped to it. So it's actually the waveform of oscillator B. So you can change the waveform. So as you can see, as I flick through these, there's actually going to be different shapes appearing here. So you can get, noise, if you kind of fine tune around 116. It's a square B wave, and that's just changing the wave of oscillator B. And then you've got pulse, which is mapped to oscillator A's fine frequency. Then you've got layer, which is mapped to oscillator C's output level. Then you've got pitch, which is linked to transpose. And that is the Wobble operator rack summed up. And I hope you guys enjoyed the preview and enjoy playing around with it and making your own wobbling noises. I look forward to hearing them. Hope I haven't waffled on too much. And thank you guys. Have a great day. Speak to the next one. Peace.